Bradley cars. Here is my story. So there I was in my 20-year-old Cavalier, crusty to no belief. And one day, while driving away from my grandparents, the car was already messed up. Then all of a sudden, clank. I became the Titanic on ground, because now the car had separated somewhere. Then all of a sudden, my steering wheel is going a full revolution to stay straight. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go home and then complain to my dad. So then I go to an intersection, it's raining, I'm sliding all over the place, I'm trying not to hit someone. But boy, this was 2014 and we had local elections, and my car was sliding all over the place. I felt like, oh, there's a lot of yard signs right there of other people. It would be a pretty good opportunity to slide right in them. But no, I decided I needed to go home. I needed to go home, I needed to be safe. Being on the road with this kind of car? No. Got home, told my dad the car is junk. He says, nah, it's just a good car. Like, no, seriously, go out. He took a spin and then came back in and says, oh yeah, it's a bad car, But then, when I sold the car to a very, very unlucky, but very lucky person who wanted to buy the car, he says, oh yeah, we see a problem right here. Yeah, you see those two bolts there? Yeah, well, that's the engine subframe. Yeah, the other bolts had rusted off, so, yeah. You had nothing holding on this car with the body. Like, oh, fantastic. But hey, it was definitely worth $300 because I had gotten the car for free. And that's my story.
I like that. Right. Now, how are you, Jew? Jew. I'm talking to Jew.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like when the car almost exploded. Also, your Titanic reference, that was really clever. That was really good.
All right. Another little ground rule, by the way, just in case anybody has it in their minds, is no heckling zone. Either even good-natured heckling is willing to version. So try to keep it quiet. All right. You in the front here.
Hello everybody, my name is Floof Electric, and I certainly hope you are not too happy with Disney films. 1994, a Goofy movie, timeless classic, story of a father and son bonding without any hint of incest, just purity. Just wonderful songs, On the Open Road classic, Do You Late All Break from Modern Living? One of my favorite songs, I sing this all the time to myself at work because it's work, I'm bored, what else am I going to do? Work. I sing After Today, a beautiful song of finally standing up one day and just saying, no, I'm going to change things, I don't have to be like this. And then something terrible came into my mind. Now this event took place 4 years after which, in 1998. Some of you already got that idea. Let me finish. I had the terrible thought in my head that After Today could easily be linked to Columbine shootings.
I'm sorry!
But let me explain myself. When you actually listen to the lyrics of the song, and you're just completely spaced out, the only thing that you can think is how absolutely awkward it must be, just image in your head, Max is just loading himself up on weaponry, sunglasses, backwards hat, leather black coat. They've been laughing since I can remember, but they're not gonna laugh anymore. Even the scene where he views Roxanne from afar, just pondering, possibly through the scope of a high-powered rifle, she looks right through me, and who could blame her? Why do do I do this to myself at work? Well, like I said, what am I going to do? Work? No, I'm going to come up with some things that are going to make people feel bad about Disney movies. And now you're going to be thinking that when you watch it as well. And if you don't laugh at it, then you're a part of the problem.
My name is Fluke Lecture.
I love that. And I need to know where you work.
No, you do not, because okay, they come up there where I've been this weekend.
Generically, what do you do?
I work at a music distribution center.
Okay.
More or less. There are much worse things that even I can't say anything in live.
I got a question. You've done this before?
We had a session last night at Amateur Hour where I also was getting on the story, and it was maybe 50 people, so it was a nice test audience.
Very good stage presence.
Thank you very much.
Good.
I grew up on stand-up comedy, so.
There you go.
Hello, I'm Octavia Pendragon, and I would like to talk on the matter of family. Specifically, my mother, who has been diagnosed with this brain disease that basically leaves her every now and then going, "Hey Layla, can you put the vacuum away in the fridge?" And then arguing with me for 10 minutes of, "I told you to put it in the fridge. What part of that do you not understand?" You know what I mean. Just do it. There was also a recent time where I decided to help and try and get the family healthier by making kale chips.
Thank God.
They were horrible, but I found this out after the fact. But I went through, did everything, massaged the kale like you're supposed to, put it in the oven, even pre-packaged it in little tiny baggies. My mother comes home, sees the baggies, picks one up, proceeds to crush it up. I ask her what she's doing, and she's like, "Are we not going to smoke it?" Apparently she thought I had somehow managed to, as a 17-year-old, get a hold of an entire island full of weed, and that we were going to smoke it. That's all I have today. Thank you.
It's not that hard to imagine this island.
You left it for wrong look. If you're going to tell a story in the future, you might just, okay, every storyteller sometimes takes liberties. Don't tell us that your mom has a condition that people just tell us that she's done a lot of weed in her time. Okay, that'll solve a little bit and give us a little more, hey, your mom was cool and silly. There was truth, and then there was we're back by the door, yeah. Take 25 minutes to get to go. Come on, get out there. No, come on, run. Double time. Move it, soldier!
My name's Exel, and I'm just going to share some D&D stories. So, the first story
Many years ago, me and some friends, they had no idea how to play the game. So our DM decided, okay, here's what's happening, this is how it's going. Goblins are attacking this town, you've got to protect it. You made the town overpowered as hell. We sat back and watched. But we managed to capture a goblin. He got set on fire, put himself out, set on fire, put himself out, set himself on fire again, and put himself out. We called him Scorchy. We took him into a cave and ended up tripping a trap, which locked us in a room. Our rogue, literally his first time playing, he was given the chance to roll for Scorchy. The goblin decides, I'm going to lift the door. Rolls a nat 20, and the door goes up. Then, not too long ago, we have a character, he's a monk, and his character is literally a little black cat with little demon horns, demonic wings, and can breathe fire. He became known as the Cat of Prophecy. And these high elves were talking to him like, you are the Cat of Prophecy. You are amazing. Somebody get the cat food. And the cat responds with, the cat has a name, asshole. We had another guy join our party, and he is a ranger. One of his spells is to cure himself of poison. His response, the first time he came into encounter with poison, is, I'm going to take an action to touch myself. Yeah, that's about what I got.
I want to know what you roll on that, actually. I mean, do you roll like the natural ones? Okay. That's why they call it Bobby. Remember, always know your audience. 75% of the people here on the down with what you're talking about. The other 25%, the normal child gets my friends. Now, for your audience, this would work real great in a gaming con, where nobody has friends. But other than that, I was something that they
I don't understand because
oh. Let's see, I'm what time we get? I have to. So they make computers 121 if it's big enough. So that marks my 34th hour without sleep. So I decided, you know, I've been up for a long time. I've been at work, listened to the 80s all throughout. My fans drove up here without in the back one or car. Yes, I know. It's such a tragic thing. And I know how to take that. I meant the air conditioning. And I eventually got here. I'm like, all right, it's 6 p.m. Give it the theaters are just closed. I can go see an absolutely insane Whose Line Is It Anyway? Thanks to Alkali. That was absolutely intense. And you guys. And it got around to around 11:30, and my brain just decided, okay, you're going to sit down. So I went to the lobby, pulled out my laptop, and sat for 8 hours watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was lovely. Being all alone, just watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. while the custodians are eating the tables around me like, what the hell is this hobo? So, eventually I go to the meet and greet for the early birds, because of course, usually
how long would it last on the
at 5
hour
a.m.
start there?
And I had a wonderful time. Talking, jawing, being loud. singing the opening theme to Lion King to wake up the rest of the hotel. It was wonderful. And eventually, I got to about noon when I said, okay, you're sitting down again. And you're going to try and get some pie. And of course, I had to do this right in front of the hotel, right in front of the desk. I just put my head down. Apparently, when you do this, you're an introvert. Because nobody's seen you. And then I got here. And I remembered, you know, the last con I went to, well, I said some pretty terrible things when I was up on this stage. I know you do, and I apologize. I'm out.
Confidence on stage. Whether that's because you have confidence or because you're sleep deprived and have no idea where you are, I don't know. If I take it from a professional, get some sleep, you'll need it. Hi. How about the other beer?
So being a husky, how may I actually get that kind of
Ladies and gentlemen, the vile, the awful, the wonderful, the other words I shouldn't use,
So I was a 90s child, so I didn't really get too into this theme, so the only story I can really tell, even closest theme, has to kind of deal with professional wrestling. Any wrestling fans in here tonight? Yeah! Awesome, I'm not alone for once. So, growing up, my favorite wrestler was the Ultimate Warrior. You know, when I was a little kid, I just really looked up to him because he was a big guy who screamed a bunch of nonsense and shook things. And growing up, I think I've come kind of close. You know, I'm a big guy, I'm saying a bunch of freaking nonsense, and right now I'm a little greasy. So, let's see here. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he did pass away. And it was very tragic, but WWE actually did a good job with his memorial. They had everyone out, they had everyone to say very nice things about him, and then they did a fade to black with a large moment of silence. It was very quiet, kind of like it is right now. Kind of arousing, isn't it? Jeez, it'd be such a shame if this moment of pure, heartfelt silence was broken by 4 slices of deep dish and soda on ice, the Little Caesars fucking Mambo Combo commercial. There I am, drunk, sitting on my couch, tearing up, and there's my 2 best friends on each side of me. In a pure fit of drunken rage, I stand on my couch and do an ultimate splash on my coffee table, breaking it. That's about all the time I have tonight. Thank you for having me.
2 things I want to talk about this guy. We always talk about timing. When he was in that moment of silence, that was well timed. Pacing, he sprung us along just the right amount of time. And another thing, raise your hand if at some point you saw him make eye contact with you during his yes. He was basically connecting with his audience. At some point he did. Good talent. Keep that in mind. It's one of the first things. Once you connect with the audience, you want to make them think you're talking to them, even if you hate them. Am I right?
And that's why I always make eye contact.
I'm going to say, you can call for the next one. I'm going to say, and I'm not going to ask why you suddenly left the room and came back in and took a giant swallow of tequila. We're going to ask that later.
Yeah, no, why don't we keep that till later? We're not dead. Let's go right here. A good friend of IFC.
is Cheval, and the story I'm going to tell you today is when I dropped a car on myself. I might go a little over my 3 minutes, I'll try to keep it short though. My story starts out on a very cold February day. I've just gotten off work and I wanted to go home. People do. I first noticed that there was a bit of a problem as I turn out of the parking lot and I'm going a little bit too fast. I'll admit, I have a lead foot. I like to drive fast. Not that fast. And I'm going faster now. Take my foot off the gas. I'm not slowing down. I'm still speeding up. Gas pedal appears to be broken. Stomp on it a few times, maybe unstick it. That didn't fix the problem. In fact, that made it worse. Time for the brake. Hit the brake. Standing on the brake. Still speeding up. This is not good, and there's a stop sign coming up. Time for the emergency brake. It's not an emergency brake. It's a parking brake. In an emergency, it does nothing. And that was the stop sign I just passed. I'm in a T intersection. It is not going my way. I'm about to do some involuntary off-roading. There is, fortunately, just a yard and another road over there. I figure if I can get to that road, I'll figure out what to do then. So, hands tightly clenched to the steering wheel, I want to make sure that I miss that mailbox, that I miss that tree, that I miss that telephone pole. We're going to try really hard to keep going straight. Now I find out the first flaw in my plan. This is not a smooth transition from road to grass. This is an embankment. I have now done a Dukes of Hazzard leap into the air and slammed into the ground. There is my windshield shatters. I have 3 thoughts at this point. The first thought is, that's really pretty. I mean, there's this nice mosaic of little pieces of glass that are in the shape of a windshield, because it's still there, and I can't see through it. A once-in-a-lifetime experience, I really hope. The second thought I have in my head is, oh, I would so like to wake up now. This is a dream, right? It really? Fuck. Not a dream. Third thought in my head is, so, this is how I die. Nice to know. Let's do it. That's about at the time that I've crossed the yard, hit the, another embankment up to the next road, so I have a nice ramp into the air, slowly turning over and bam, down into the ground. Gravity was not nice to me that day. So point of impact of my car was there, and I'm now wearing the ceiling of my car as a hat. Upside down, hands still clenched to the steering wheel, and through the windshield. So, I have a pretty strong fight or flight response. My husband will tell you this has happened a few times over the course that we've known each other. I've already punched my car, and that didn't work. It's time to get the fuck out of here. Not getting out that door, not getting out that door. Oh, the rear windshield has also shattered, and it did fall out. So I wiggle around, crawl across the ceiling of my car, underneath the seat, and leave the, burning wreckage of my vehicle. And that's my story of how I dropped a car on myself.
Go ahead,
In my defense, it was 3 weeks before somebody got it. This is true.
Alright, this is enough advice on what to do! Okay, alright, we're gonna get some advice on how to do this. We're gonna go to the next person here, because we have a brand new person with us, and if I am correct in thinking it's sure. Would you like to come to the stage, sir? And tell him what not to do? Welcome to Insanity. Your name is?
I am Ranger Ron.
Guys, give it up for Ranger Ron.
So I am actually Paul's dad, Shabbat, and I have to point out that when you tell these little stories, you gotta start at the beginning. What he fails to tell you is why the accelerator stuck and why he ended up flying through the air upside down. See, it was indeed a very cold winter day, and the car that we are describing here is one of those big, old, heavy Chevy Impalas, yellow. It had been his grandmother's car, and on that cold winter day, it froze and would not start. So my lovely and talented son decided that the best way to thaw the engine would be to fill buckets of water in the bathtub, hot water, which he is going to pour onto the engine of this car, which will then promptly thaw the car. Well, he did this, and it turns out that an entire water heater full of hot water does not thaw a massive V8 engine. So he calls me and he says, "Dad, my car won't run." I show up and open the hood of the car, and it's a solid block of ice. And I said, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, I tried to thaw the car, and now it won't start." Well, it just so happened I had access to one of those big propane torpedo heaters. So I jack up the front of the car, and I put this thing underneath for like 3 hours, and the water is pouring out and refreezing in the street because it's a sub-zero day, right? And we get the thing thawed. He drives it to work, where it promptly refroze. All of the linkages from the gas pedal, all of that other stuff. He tells me that as he was flying through the air, rotating in space, and beginning to fall upside down, he was screaming. I want you to know that I have heard this scream before. I knew about my son long before he knew about him. And I firmly remember in the little house that he grew up in, that we lived pretty much in the woods. And one day, he opened the silverware drawer as he's doing dishes, and I heard the most delightful, voice-changing little scream. Because there was a possum in the silverware drawer. I had heard this scream, and so when he tells me about screaming, flying through the air, upside down, in the flaming car, and I see the car shortly thereafter, laying this way, I have this vision of my son in the car, flying through the air. And then climbing out the back and being his daddy's son, giving the car one good, solid kick before he walks away to tell Dad the car won't run.
About why this rock is here and trying to keep them from walking away. Very well done. Your son is a goddamn moron.
But one of the most generous morons I have ever met.
You should have saved him for last. Give me a tough guy.
I have
But
no
don't
idea.
let it scare you. Don't let it scare you.
That was on.
Oh, what are you doing now?
I don't know. I'm blind. Man, you're up. What? Sorry, my hashtag what? Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Al Capone!
Well, I was going to do a little bit on sodium, but I realize that this is stand-up comedy and it should be taken seriously, and one should take the initiative to learning their lines, studying other comics, to be good at it. And I have done my homework, and I came to the realization that I am no professional. But I figured that if I followed in Xander's footsteps, I'll do just fine. Where the fuck was I? Actually, to tell you the truth, I really shouldn't be here because I lost my job last week. 7 years as a bank clerk, and Granny Goodbitch had to come in the door and walk up to my aisle and ask me to check her balance. Now, I am a customer person. I know the customer's always right, and I did what she asked. So I shoved the old broad. I was fired on the spot, which I say is bullshit because anyone could clearly see that her check was in the negative, and it rolled over twice. Another thing, there was another death in the family last month. Grandpa, he was an odd one. For Christmas, he came to visit despite Mom's restraining orders. And he had two big giant presents for me and my little brother. He says, come here. Don't tell your mom I'm giving this to you, okay? But just enjoy. And he sat there with anticipation. As I got excited and opened up mine, and it was filled with broken beer bottles. And I looked at my brother, and he opened up his, and it was filled with Band-Aids. And he looked at both of us and says, all right, you bastard, share. This was the same man at my graduation day. He came over for a picture, put his arm around me and says, you know, you're about as useless as the GM lasagna. Oh yeah, Uncle Kage's here. Wonderful. I love science, sir. I love it so much. Here, a little bit of science for you. Did you know that 200 pounds on Mars is the equivalent to 75 pounds on Earth? Reality check here. If anybody tells you you're fat, you're obese, you're overweight, this is bullshit. Because this is just your body doing what it does to remind you that you're on the wrong fucking planet. This is the furry fandom. We have a giant ferret and a panda, for fuck's sake. But I'll end it with this one. I used to have a girlfriend that despised the furry fandom. She says, if you join the furry fandom, I'm gone. I'm history. And being a furry, and I love cuddles, I love kisses, I was desperate. So I stole a wheelchair, because I knew she'd come crawling back.
Thing is, I got a strong suspicion he didn't make any of that up.
I just like that during the obese joke he kept looking at me.
Okay, that last punchline was an honest-to-goodness punchline. That was very well done.
That was very classic.
Shitty pun, but well delivered. Who else wants to... How about the guy with the fur on his head?
That's like everybody except for you.
That's Nick now. Okay, knock him down.
All right. So I hear a lot of people talk about, complain. They're like, oh, I'm so old, right? I just feel so old. So what they mean is, I feel old compared to everybody around me. So see, if you're out of college, you go to a college campus, well then yeah, you're going to feel old. So in order to do that, you just need to change your surroundings. If you feel old, go to the opera. You'll feel so much younger. If you go to the opera and you still feel old, go to bingo night. If you go to bingo night and you still feel old, then I'm sorry, you actually are old, I can't help you. And similar people say like, oh yeah, I'm so fat, I'm obese. Again, just change your surroundings. Just go to the nearest Golden Corral, look around you, you'll feel so much cuter. So, I see a lot of advertisements to donate things. People talk about, I mean, there's clothes, you know, and then you got 1877 cars for kids, which I don't get that charity like. Does the kid get the car? And I don't know. Then I saw a billboard that said, donate your boat. I mean, first of all, who's got a boat to donate? I mean, what kind of rational person would say, you know, I could give this charity, but I think I'm going to first buy a boat, and then I'll donate that boat, you know? I mean, here's how I expect a lot of calls to that charity go. Yeah, I got to go for you. Oh, really? Yeah, you'll love it. It's 50 feet long, 10-foot high sails, 2 fishing chairs, 7,000 horsepower engine, you'll love it. Okay, great. Where is it? Okay, it's at Marmor Lake. All right, here's how you find it. Drive out to the lake, go out to the middle of the lake, 50 feet down. That's where it is. So, when I entered this fandom, I was pretty confident about my heterosexuality. You know, like, yeah, girls, yeah, I like them, just need to find the right one. And then I joined Telegram. And then I meet this guy, and we're just talking, you know, getting to know each other, and then I start having these feelings, and I'm like, what the heck are these feelings? Like, what the heck's going on here? And then I'm like, furry, should have known, yeah. So, yeah, so now I have a boyfriend. It's going great. We haven't met yet, though. We're doing this. And yeah, so I'm still, you know, kind of figuring things out. And so one thing is that I've never kissed anybody. Well, actually, except one time during Whose Line Is It Anyway, Alkali kissed me. During one of the sketches. So technically, Alkali, you were my one and only. I'm looking up, you know, stuff about preparing for your first kiss, and then I see something about the tongue, and so this is a new thing for me. Okay, the tongue. I mean, well, maybe I'll did a little tongue. I don't know. But yeah, so apparently there's an issue with jamming your tongue down your partner's throat. That's what this video warned me about. So yeah, apparently I need to watch out for that. So that's what I got for you.
Probably don't gotta worry about it. And is this Alkali?
Strange.
You hear an orchestra playing?
Not exactly.
Did you walk an 0.8 out?
I am a volunteer too.
Little bang of shurikens threw at just the right point into our foreheads, and we didn't see them coming. Particularly this guy. Yeah. You know, when I saw him uncork that. Yes, when I saw him uncork that tequila and gulp it, I knew he got it. Like, yeah.
That was a sick.
Oh, you mean when...
No!
That's called a setup.
That's
How about Dr. Forrester's nephew here? I've seen him in him.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Rob Zilla!
Okay, first off, I'm going to start with a small story from, we'll call it the past. I work at a small tourist railroad on the weekends, and we just hired a new ticket agent, and she is the nicest lady you've ever met, minus the fact she's one of the most religious people you've ever met. And that doesn't mean you're not nice, don't get me wrong. But we don't need to hear about it every 5 minutes. Just like we don't need to hear about your alcohol addictions or your personal feelings on furries. So, we've had enough of it. And let me give you a quick idea of what our office looks like. Ticket counter, door to the ticket counter. Every day I walk through that door, pass by her, and hear her feelings. Everybody's talking about how we're done with it. Okay, fine. Well, I can't get it out. I'm Wiccan. She doesn't know this. Best secret ever. One day we've had enough. I'm sick. Coming in through the front office door. I walk up to the ticket door and go, because I know what's coming. So I go back to my car, get a Kleenex, come back out, and this ticket agent now knows I'm Wiccan because when I walked in, my pentagram, or pentacle, depending on who you are, is sitting right here where she can see it. She's giving me the walk back out, walk back in, she's buried in the computer, just looking up at me. The eyes. I get to the ticket counter. I don't go to the door. I get to the ticket counter, stand right in front of her and go, "Hi, Arla. She did go through the door. She jumped over the counter and ran out of the office. Didn't come in for 2 days. 2 days later, she calls our boss and goes, "Get an exorcism before I come back to work." My boss hands me the phone and goes, "Scott, how are you feeling?" "Great." So that's in the past. In the present, I actually run a convention. Now when I say run, it's not like we're the con chairs and all the staff running around in the present. We sit in an office and make sure the booze doesn't run out. This is for a railroad convention. I have 10 seconds. Let me just tell you this, I promise. Our biggest concern is running out of alcohol during this. Everybody has lots and lots of money. Tens of thousands of dollars that they donated this. My biggest concern is hearing this over the radio. "We're out of alcohol. Do not let them know." During the chairman's final speech on Saturday night, he's standing and he keeps the radio on him right here. Whole con. Turns it off. Forgot to turn it off. There's 3 staff. We stay quiet. During the speech, my co-staffer is in another room getting ready for a room party. And this is what happens during the speech. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to have you here at the convention. I'm glad you all showed up. Attention all staff, there's free booze in room 150. Free booze, 150. A room this full was clear in 30 seconds. Turn your radios off, people. Thank you.
So I've heard his stories before, and dude, you're learning. That's awesome. Thank you. You're doing much better, and I can't wait to see you next time with the full story of where that booze is and how I can get it. January? I can just do a run. Yes. I turned it off. I turned it off after the last thing. Thank you very much.
And you have to follow the cue.
That's my radio now, and I've been answering it quite regularly. No, you better been correct. No. Let me be the next person. We're going to go all the way to the back of the room. Green shirt, come on up. My dear, what's your name? Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Anora!
incredibly crazy story where one day I was headed home from work, and there's a park on the way home from my job, and in the middle of the park I see a little fire, maybe about the size of this, you know, not big. So me being me at first was like, I'm gonna call the fire department and be like, hey, you know, there's a fire out here. I do. The phone rings for a little bit and I hear them say, hey, what's up? And I'm like, there's a fire in the park and it's not big. I just thought I'd let you guys know before it gets out of control. And to my surprise, the lady says, well, if it's small, you can step on it yourself. I was like, okay. And she transfers me to somebody else. I get walking up, you know, I'm confused and stunned by this point, and I'm like, okay, fine, I will go step on it. So I get walking towards it, and I get transferred to somebody else, and they're like, what's the problem? I tell them there's a fire in the park, and I get up to the fire and realize it's a flaming canid animal skull. I was shocked, I was stunned, and it was like, okay. So I really relay this to her. And she says, well, if you can still step on it, you should. I'm like, okay, so I do. Next thing I know, my pant leg is on fire, my boot is on fire, I'm jumping up and down trying to get the fire out. Finally fall on my butt, the fire goes out. I'm panicking at this point. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? And by the time that I get this out, she's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I was just on fire. And she's like, well, are you alone? I was like, yeah. And she's like, then you need to go home. What are you doing? I was like, you told me to step on it. So I get going home, and by this time, I get a phone call from a restricted number. Have no clue what is going on. I'm freaking out thinking that somebody in the park got my phone number while I was there and is trying to kill me. So I answer the phone real shakily, like, yeah? And they're like, 911, what's the emergency? I was like, well, you guys are a little late. So I tell them all of what happened, and they were like, well, do you need an ambulance? I'm like, no, I'm fine now. So that's my story, and it's a crazy night.
I'm terrified of your emergency services. Yes. That is not a good idea.
The non-emergency number is don't call that.
We have a dealer who needs to get back to his table. He has to go next. So, would you kindly, my friend, how would you like dealer? I'm going to stick with the first part. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
So I knew I wanted to do the open mic again this year. And I could have been really creative and written up a bit because I used to do stand-up comedy. But instead, I decided I'm going to be a lazy asshole and just do a preview for my upcoming panel tonight and read you some shit I found online. Sonic High School, Chapter 1. Sonic woke up and looked at the clock. 7 a.m. it said, and Sonic screamed, I'm late. No, I'm late to school. I have to go. No, no time for breakfast, Mom. Sonic ran very quickly out of his room to the bus. Tails, Knuckles, wait for me. Hey, Knuckles, it's Sonic, said Tails to Knuckles. He is late. What an idiot, said Knuckles to Tails before getting on the bus. Sonic ran very quickly, got on the bus. Just in time, said Sonic, huffing and puffing like he was doing the Cupid shuffle for the first time. Sonic sat down next to Tails, and Knuckles sat behind them, taking up both seats. I'm so bad, said Knuckles, laughing because he sat where two people could sit. Knuckles did this every day, and no one bothered him, even though they knew it was against the rules of both man and God. The bus drove to the school, and everyone piled out. We're at school now, said Tails. It's time to go to class. Sonic was also at school, so he went to his first class of the day, English class. Sonic did not like English class very much, but he did not like any class very much that was not about running and going really fast, which is what Hedgehog does best. It is journal day, said Sonic's English teacher, Mrs. Lesson. Mrs. Lesson was tall and white and had gray hair like Kage and was not pretty. Take out your journals and put them in a pile, and I will read one of your entries to the class. Sonic put his journal on his desk first because he is so fast. Mrs. Lesson grabbed the journal from the pile, and Sonic knew it was his because it looked just like Sonic's journal. Mrs. Lesson opened it to a totally random page, and it was the worst page she could pick. She began to read. Dear Journal, I called the doctor today about a problem. I have a problem with my balls. They are itchy, and it is difficult to sit still with them because they are so itchy. I have to rub my ass up and down against the metal surfaces to relieve this ungodly itchiness. No creams have worked. Creams only make my balls sweat smell like the breath of a thoroughbred. And I think my girlfriend Amy, is finally with us. Yes, I did. Did you send me the URL? Yes. If you guys want to hear more, I'm doing a panel of this later tonight at 9:30. There will be chances for audience participation.
Dead by, I look forward to it.
Is anybody here familiar with a classic written work called The Eye of Argon?
Oh, dude.
I think we just found the very version. Yes. And Sonic stuff. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, give a round of applause.
How about you, the fluffy one with the glasses? Yeah, and the mask. Both fluffy guys are balls. Yes, and the bondage charms. Get up.
Make sure that they don't move.
All right, my name is Pinecone, and let's see, I always like sharing stuff that I do outside the fandom. I have a lot of different hobbies, and some of them are a bit strange, but might as well show them off to the public. Of course, sometimes it's not always legal. I found this one out. For a couple of years, I raced hovercrafts, and I thought one day it'd be a good idea to drive it down the street. Now we're talking full size, straight pipe, 15 plus horsepower. I'm going down the road and there's these ladies jogging, coming my way, covering their ears.
Jogging like this.
It's like they can't, it's like hurting their ears and stuff. But I thought I would do something at a furry convention, a panel about something I do. Yeah, these two are looking at each other. Like, what happened? Yes, no. In Motor City, I hosted one of my first panels, Drones and Model Aviation 101. And I thought, man, maybe people won't be too interested in it. It's like, I'm kind of worried about this, and so I think what I'll do is a publicity stunt. Because, I mean, you know, you gotta do something. There's all these big animals walking around, and you have to get their attention somehow. So I'm thinking, and somebody hands me a badge of a certain character's face, and I thought, oh, what's this? And I go up to my room where I've got all my equipment that I'm going to show off for my panel, and I find this little itty-bitty little drone, won't hurt anybody, and I decided to glue the alkalized face to it and attack people at the bar. It worked Thursday night, Friday morning, and then security caught up with me and told me not to do that anymore. He remembers, he saw it. I hear I'm not allowed to fly anymore in Motor City. All right, I think that's what I got.
First.
I don't blame that thought.
Now my face fly New Year. The seventh seal has been unlocked. I am not the seventh seal. How many times do I have to tell you that? Right over here. Guys, give them the intro. Ready? Jesus is process here.
I am the magister. I have the ring to... Yes, I'm a mechanical engineer. I have the ring to prove it. Shit. Last year, I believe I asked everyone to tweet hashtag lobster humidor to the New Yorker. One person in the front, I won't say who, pretended to on his phone. There is footage of him doing it, or at least looked like he was. However, on Twitter, there is no hashtag lobster humidor. So, you're going to throw that reading of the first paragraph, and then we'll go on to the next part. Basically, I was shaking too much, so here we go. Izzy, I need this. Yes, you need the back of the room.
All right. It's evening. A restaurant has a sign in the window. We can make any dish you can name. A man walks in, sits down. When asked for his entree, he says, "I'll have the lobster humidor." The manager is called and an argument ensues. The man points out the sign and insists he knows what he's ordering. The manager talks to the chef and is pursued by the enraged Italian carrying a cleaver. The chef comes down and calls his friend who's working in an environmental laboratory. What luck. They've been doing tobacco tests and a lobster has just been diagnosed with lung cancer. The hapless invertebrate is rushed to the restaurant, and in half an hour the diner is presented with it on a dish surrounded by tobacco leaves. The chef has gotten into the spirit of the thing and is given the lobster sunglasses and a beard which reminds the diners of Fidel Castro. The man removes a claw and dips it in the specially blended tobacco butter. He takes a bite. The restaurant is on the edge of its seat. He dabs at his mouth and looks contemplatively out the window. He lays the claw down and picks up the rest of the lobster, igniting its tail on a candle. The diner takes a puff from the remaining claw and blows a smoke ring. The restaurant erupts into applause, but then is pursued from the establishment by sprinklers. And if you want to hear about the ichthyological conference on how a lobster has lung cancer, tune in next week. We have a new show with those like this. Good evening.
Good evening.
Seems to be going well so far. Good evening, 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 good evening. 17 English good evening here used to do with 1. That shows you how far the English good evening has fallen next to the Euro post-Brexit. You know, it takes 24 English good evenings for 1 German Guten Abend, and 86 English good evenings for one American good evening, folks. However, you still only have to pay 1 English good evening for 24 Japanese hello sailors. Japan, welcoming Western seamen since that unfortunate incident with the Fire and Fury last time. Now, inflation has gotten so bad that at my commencement, we had to get Zathras to do the speech. Not Zathras or Zathras, but Zathras. How much time have I got? Can we talk about Zathras? Oh. All right then. Well, in any case, long story short, I'm unemployed, but I do have a lot of pride.
Zathras.
Zathras?
I know
Zathras.
Yeah,
Zathras, not Zathras.
Oh, yeah, no, he's right, not Zathras.
Zathras.
His brother.
Zathras.
Ray Tonsils are out.
Oh.
There was a tiny, tiny little thing he did in the beginning. It might have gone past you, but it didn't go past me. This thing kind of started to fall. Didn't miss a beat. I'm a mechanical engineer. Kept moving. That's good.
Yes.
You keep it moving. You don't let it throw you. That was brilliant. It's a tiny part of the act, but it was key. Just still can't say so.
Great job.
Let's see. Yes, that's right. No, I'm Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Kayla!
Yes, okay. So I have a thing called a family, apparently. My brother, he loves getting high. Like a lot. I walked in one day late at night and I looked at him and I said hi. He looks at me and goes, in your face. What about it? He's like, it's funny. I'm like, Mark, why are you watching Titanic? Because it's funny as fuck watching it sink. I go to the kitchen, I'm like, Mark, where's my bread? Oh, that was yours? Yes, because I want to make a sandwich. I ate it all. Okay, where's my noodles? Oh, shit. Okay, I'll buy you noodles. I'm a semi-vegetarian. I don't eat red meat. He buys me beef stew. So great. And then my mom. Oh, I love my mom to death. She's psychotic. Oh, Lord. We can't eat pie with her. If you like it too much, she'll stab you. She stabbed my dad. It was beautiful. They're still married 26 years. It's surprising. I look at my dad and say, blink twice if you want to go. Oh, God. He only blinks once because she's looking. My grandma, love her to death too. Oh my lordy, that woman, I want to kill her. I work second shifts, 8 o'clock in the morning. Kaylee, you gotta get up yet. You have work. Grandma, not for like 5 more hours. Leave me alone. Kaylee, you want cinnamon toast crunch? No. Good God. And then my sister. Oh God, my sister. She's up her boyfriend's ass now. I mean, it gives me a break. Oh shit. Okay. No, like, she loves me so much, though. She does. She'll go into my room and she'll lay with me and go, I missed your face, and start petting me. It's at 7 o'clock in the morning, too. I get home at 1. Oh, and then my other grandma, my grandpa passed away a little while ago. She looks at me a month later, goes, I want sex. Good to know, Grandma, I love that too. Do you want me to find you someone? I want some chats. No, I got it. There's this young guy I go to church with. How old is he? 20. All right, Grandma, I'm rooting for you. You got this. You better have that stamina up. Come on, do some workouts. I'll go running. Yeah, no, it's great. My family, it's beautiful. And then all my friends, they're beautiful. They make fun of me. Aria over there, she loves me at work. She'll scare me to death every time. My boss, he loves me. Bob. I do that to him all the time. He looks at me, stop dying at me. No, Bob. Oh, he scared me once with a drill. I jumped 5 feet in the air, curled up in a ball, started crying. I frighten ears easily, and then another worker, oh, James, beautiful man. Not really, he's very short and annoying. But he told me not to touch his dick once. We were working together, and he was talking about fucking a cat. I'm like, don't touch your dick. He's like, yes, don't touch my dick, Kaylee. I don't want that. I'm like, good, I don't want it either. I don't want you to touch mine. How much time do I have? Okay, well, I'm good because I love my dick, I promise.
I'm sorry about the lady comment at the beginning. Can I just ask one question? You were joking about your family, right? Okay, good. I'm very glad I'm not related to you. Thank you very much. Is there a word for when you basically comedically keep wailing on somebody with a sledgehammer? That was great. That left me out of breath. That was well done. You get applause for that. I'm still going to heck, and all of a sudden, it's like, here it is again. I have another concussion and a fractured skull. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Somebody loves
Pittsburgh. We love Pittsburgh too. And I like Amsterdam, yes. I better. All right. We're running a little down on time. Pick somebody.
All right, we've got somebody sitting in the AV area. Mike, maybe you're supposed to or not, but I'm going to pick AV. Because if I don't, they'll turn off our microphones. Oh yeah, you would have totally turned off my microphone.
Who's the dummy now?
This is my first year of staff. I don't know how they do it. I'm so tired, and that's just Saturday. But, I don't even know if we're going to do this one. What's up? Did you say anything?
Awesome person is on my stage AV game!
I just want to tell you, I love science. I never read novels. I read all the time. What I read is random studies. A few months ago, I found a great little study that really kind of piqued my interest, and it was about personality disorders. What I learned is there's one very special personality disorder, which is narcissism. And it's special because most people who have a personality disorder, they don't really want to admit it. So if you're trying to find out how bad they are, you have to try to trick them with a big, long survey of 50 to 100 questions. What I learned is narcissists think narcissism is great. And they won't lie. They'll say, oh yeah, I absolutely have narcissistic personality disorder. Confirmed by a study. So my husband gets home. He's a lot of things. You might have heard earlier, he might be a moron. So my husband gets home, and I said, hey, I heard this great study about narcissism. And he goes, oh, I'm narcissistic. Really? Yeah, if I could build a cloning machine just to fuck myself, I would do it. So I have this study thing here, this little survey. It's 50 to 100 questions. Would you mind taking that real quick? Okay. So he goes over to his computer and he does this one. I had done it earlier, and so here's my score because I have low self-esteem and all that. And here's the average American. And then here's a reality TV show star. Here's the average felon. Here's my husband. So I look at the score and I say, nothing. I just kind of stare at him for a moment. He says, are you okay? I said, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how you're not an asshole. So by all rights, you really should be. I don't know. Well, I'm grateful for it anyway. So the last thing I said to him was, you know, I think I know what I'm going to do for open mic next year. I'm going to talk about you. And he said, that sounds great.
I love it when you can hit a big punch right at the end. That was a fantastic closing one. All right, we've been over here. I want to look over this way. All right. Go. I'm already drunk. Yeah, that's not good. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for that goddamn squirrel.
So, I don't normally do this, but why not? Have a few fun former work stories. Kind of practiced this last night. I used to work for Walmart, which right there should tell you many, many things. None of them good. You get all sorts of people, kind people, fat people, the dumbasses. I had the fun distinction of always working the cashier things. So I saw all sorts of people. At Walmart, if you don't want the meat products you get, and you come up to us, we'll just have to throw it out. Might raise the prices a little bit if you have enough, but we'll let you know that. I had this lovely, lovely lady come up with 3 carts, jacked full of meat. I swear she might have had an addiction, just slightly. But, okay, I'll start ringing her out. Then she pulls out her purse and has this about mile high thing of coupons. 2 of them don't work. Looks at me dead in the eye. Fuck you, I'm leaving. Mind you, I was working the line. This is a small little Walmart. It was a fast lane for cigarettes. Only one we had. There was a mile-wide line behind her, and she had already filled up everything. She got up and left, leaving everything there for me and everyone else to just stare at her with fear and loathing. Another lovely little story. Remember that song, The Thoughts? Do you? I'm sure you don't, Alkali. Well, when that first came out, about the Christmas after that, we got these lovely little figurines. They danced, they were fox. Guess what they sang? This lady came through my line, and I knew what it would do, just by looking at it. So I pressed it once. Funny enough. Then she does it 3 more times. And I can just look behind her and see head after head after head. What the fuck is going on over there? Moving on from Walmart. I used to be what I would call a drug runner. Not actually a drug runner, just delivering medical supplies to Milwaukee people. Drug runner. This happened at F2. I was there for a day because my lovely, lovely roommate decided to tell me, you're going to be doing my route tonight. Brand new route. Right before I left, I got a nice little present. A cookie, you might say. A special little cookie. And I did not know that. So I had about half of it, nothing happening for a while. Get home, get in my car, and then it hits me. I am high out of my mind and I have no idea what to do. Because I have to drive in the pitch blackness for 4 hours. And instead, I take 9 hours. 9. Because I forgot every single thing I needed to do over and over and over again. Oh well.
Guys. Dude, don't admit to illegal activity on my stage. That's my job. You know what we do that. No, thanks, Boosie. We appreciate it. We've got time for one, maybe two more, so I'm gonna go once again back in the room. Right over here, we've got, guys, we got at least, we're gonna try for 2, so keep 3 minutes. 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Smart. He is not Captain Smart. What? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dustin!
Is everybody ready for some comedy? Hello. Good afternoon, IFC. How is everybody doing today? Are you ready for a desperate attempt to gain your love and affection through blabbering through a microphone, coming through our ears, and hoping you are entertained? Good. Unfortunately, the Dragon show was yesterday, so they said it would be me, half the skill and twice the desperation. So I am very happy to be here. I am from Chicago. It's weird to say I'm happy to be here in Indianapolis, but admittedly it's kind of nice because I will be about 200 miles from a potential ground zero. So, you know, hey. I really don't want to get too much into politics and stuff, though. Obviously, I don't get into... I kind of fall on a weird line. You know, I am white, mostly. I am educated, mostly. And I'm straight. Mostly. So, and obviously being small and stuff, you know, I have the issue and the problems of shopping, which I had to do for this convention, go and stop and pick up stuff. And again, going off of being, you know, secure at my sexuality, happy with who I am, it becomes interesting when you're going shopping for underwear. Aisles and aisles of guys looking rather fit, standing with their... And nobody ever has any real underwear for anybody. That's stuff that, you know, for smaller guys, the waistband comes under the armpits, the cracker kind of comes up to here. And especially being my size, I don't fit in most stuff. And it's kind of awkward walking into the children's section, walking up to a kid and going, so how do they fit? And of course, security pulls me aside and says, what do you have to say for yourself? I'm sorry. Mostly. That's my time. Thank you very much.
Is that one fun? Dustin, awesome. Absolutely awesome timing, and thanks for the shout out to Chicago. I'll shoot you later. Yes, we have time for one more. All right, guys, for this last one, who has never done open mic before, ever? I'm looking for someone who's never done open mic before, ever. I want to stick to the middle of the room. You're terrifying. All right, guys, come on up. Oh boy. All right, you're pretty soon song. Oh, can I introduce you? Tanner? Get on up there. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our closing guys. Guys, for those of you who did not make it up here, every year this panel has went from 1 hour to an hour and a half because of how popular it is. Every year we're going to try to get more and more people up here. Thank you for attending. But for right now, your final act, guys, let's give it up for Tanner!
So, you're probably wondering about the stupid get-up. I played at the Nerf War earlier, and I had the stupid idea of, let's mix these hands with this stupid airsoft outfit and see how it works. So I learned an important lesson today about be sure you know exactly what you're doing and what you're wearing before you get into a basically simulated combat situation. Because airsoft war starts, or Nerf war starts. Nerf darts flying everywhere. Everyone's ducking behind things, everyone's screaming at each other. Everyone's having a ton of fun. I'm stuck behind cover for about 5 seconds, firing at people, screaming, having a fun time, until I run out of darts. I then have the wonderful idea to try to reload with these on. So I reach into my bag, I pull out my next little package of darts, I try to put them up into the machine. Doesn't work. Try it again. My machine starts making a really scary whirring sound. And so I'm like, okay, I'll pull it out, try to pull it out. Pull it out, darts shoot all over the floor. I am now completely out of ammo. Everyone knows I'm out of ammo. And I am now hiding behind cover with about 50 darts a second flying over my head. I'm basically laying on the ground screaming, covering my head, going, ah! I'm basically reenacting the opening of Saving Private Ryan. So I spend the next 30 seconds trying to load darts in and all that. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get up there, I'm going to be awesome. I'm going to pull a Rambo, you know, shoot from the hip, all that. I hear a little thunk behind me. I'm like, oh, what's that? Turn. It's one of the many grenades that have been tossed through the area. And all I hear from way out is just some guy go, "You're out, sucker." And that concluded my first round of the Nerf war. Mostly consisted of laying behind a bunch of chairs, screaming, and wishing I had not worn these.
Also, if you're in here with a person on the board of directors, please don't tell me there was an airsoft competition at my convention. That was actually slightly shorter. You had your hand up. What's the time on yours? I'm going to have to cut you off in 3 minutes. Is that cool? You've got 3 minutes. Come on up, because I saw you trying to get up here. What's your name? Rena started. You've never been on the stage before? You've never been on a stage? Guys, give it up for Rena Stardust!
Oh my God, that was a lot of comedy. I don't know how I'm going to follow that. All right. I'm pretty sure everybody here has at least watched some Disney movies, because apparently we're all animal lovers. Anybody notice that Disney has kind of like a theme line to them? I mean, they have tragic death scenes and crying. Why do they make us want to cry so bad? Crap, I have no idea what to do.
Tell us about your Disney movies.
Well. My Disney movies. I always want to bawl because the tragic death scenes are just so tragically dramatic. I mean, seriously, me and my best friend watch Disney movies and bawl our eyes out at a death scene, and it's like, why, Disney, why? I don't know what. Funny thing about me and my best friend is that we're both either really bad influence on each other, or either one of us is a bad influence on each other. But yet we sit and watch Disney movies. And she tries to scare the pants off me with his scary movies. So, there was this one time we were watching Lights Out. The first jump scare, she screamed, I nearly punched her. No, seriously, I will punch somebody if they try and scare me. It's not a joke, people. It's a reflex.
Guys, give a round of applause.